All right, guys, what's going on? We're here. We're live. Welcome to a brand new Poker Live podcast. My name's Joey Grimone, aka Chicago Joey. Before we get started, guys, we actually we got a sponsor for this podcast, guys. This podcast episode sponsored by the great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Pot Limit Omaha has got in touch with me, and they said, Joe, we would love to sponsor the episode of you and STEALTHMUNK coming on because you guys have been such avid players of the great game. So, guys, check out Pot Limit Omaha. If you're bored of No Limit Hold'em, you get 4 cards instead of 2. It's a great game. Check it out, Pot Limit Omaha. And before we get into things here as well, I did a couple podcasts over this past week. I had Alex Luneau on last week. I had Doug Polk on last week. And I also had Sebastian Malik on this week from EPT Barcelona winner. And then on next Monday, we're going to have my buddy Max Silver on the podcast. But today, let's get into things. Joining me now is a young man who, I mean, people have been saying, when are you going to get this guy on the podcast? You know, you guys need to do a podcast. When are you getting this guy on a podcast? You guys need to do a podcast. When are you getting this guy on a podcast? We need a podcast between you and this guy. They've been asking, they've been begging, they've been sending in videos, they've been sending in Snapchats, they've been sending in all kinds of stuff. Finally, the day has come. We're here with the young man. I love this guy, man. I'm excited to talk with him on the podcast. We got STEALTHMUNK in the house. What's up, puppy? What's going on, man? Welcome to the podcast, brother.
It's good to be on.
You don't get that energy. How you got?
I got energy. I don't. I'm a fan of the show, but I don't think I'd be good on it. But I guess we'll see how it works out.
Wow, man, that's not true, man. Listen, me and you could talk about the great game, our premier sponsor, Pot Limit Omaha, for a long time. So we always just go back to that if need be, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching it back when it was just going through NVG, and it's like that's when I was more interested.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. So, guys, if you don't know about STEALTHMUNK, I guess STEALTHMUNK, so I know a little bit about your poker backstory, but I don't know too much about your poker backstory, you know, outside of just 2+2, and there's been some videos over the years and stuff like that. So why don't you give people a little bit of rundown on your background with poker?
Rundown with poker. I've been playing poker for a while. I'm one of the few people still around. And I started when I was like 15, 14 or something. I'm like almost 28 now, so it's quite a lot of a time. I don't know where to start.
You've been playing online that entire time then?
Oh yeah, I mean, I freaking was when I was in high school, I would keep calling the party poker for a friend bonuses, you know, under different names to get the $50, grind it up, you know, because you could run that scam a lot. I would grind, and then I won the million when I was 17, and I had that chop where I got more than first. Everyone was calling me a scumbag, and I was like a famous thread in 2+2 where I began my infamy on the internet. And then, I don't know, a lot of stuff happened.
So wait a second. So did the statute of limitations pass yet, guys? In the chat, let me know. So you started playing online poker when you were 18. You started playing live poker with your friends.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Nothing to do.
They can't come back and get you? All right, well, fuck it. You were playing online poker when you're 15 years old. So 17 happens. You make your first $1 million. And then I actually don't know this incident you're talking about with the tournament chop.
Yeah, I mean, I chopped for over first in the million. And there was crazy chat in it. It was on a thread, and Girolo and other old school people back then were calling it unethical because I had the ability to win more than first, but I didn't actually win more than first. They were like, that's not right. And then, but that wasn't really what was cool. What happened after it was more interesting.
Okay. I'm excited. Okay, so what happened? So after that, so you're 17.
The internet, I don't know. It's funny talking about it, but it's just I don't know where it's. Well, my mother wanted me to go to college and protect me from the degenerate I inevitably became, and she decided, well, because it was in her name, Like I always was my only job. Like I would pay like 11 rebuy winnings, pay for my little Subaru and whatnot. I thought I was a fucking man buying alcohol and shit, like every fucking kid that played poker back then. And then when I won the million or whatever, I tried to keep it quiet from her. Like I didn't say anything, obviously. And I was like 17 and like 3/4 or whatever. Like me and my friends were planning summer houses, you know, like just hold it in the account until I'm 18. And I still remember it was the end of school. And I was at my friend's house or pool or whatnot, and I got a call or whatever. And what happened was I have a younger brother on the tennis team or something, and like I won a lot of money. Like people talk about it in school or whatever, and they saw my mother and some friend of a friend I don't even know congratulated her. He was like, "Congrats." Like thinking like she knew or whatever. I had a call like her flipping out, and a lot of stuff happened after that too. Had a judge tell me I couldn't use a computer and other crazy nonsense, and I've chronicled it a lot on the internet, way too much probably, but I mean, that's why it's just good times.
So did you end up getting that money back then? That you won then?
I don't know. It was so long ago. We figured out many different things, and I didn't have the money for a bit though. The thing I remember was the mandatory Gamblers Anonymous, because like this was at the heat of the days, and I wasn't even a little bit degenerate then. Like I wasn't even at all like drugs, alcohol, anything that, whatever. Like I was just a poker nerd, you know, like a kid. I was like, oh, poker, awesome. And I have like mandatory Gamblers Anonymous, and like one of the first things at Gamblers Anonymous is they said they make you admit you have a problem, and I would never do that. Mm-hmm. So I got kicked out of like 12 Gamblers Anonymous meetings. I remember they're all trying to be so helpful. They see someone young, they want to protect them. And they're like, the odds appear to be there, but they're not really there. Like these party poker degens and just, yeah.
Mm. So you were in Gamblers Anonymous classes 11 years ago. It's not 10, 11 years ago.
Oh, man, lots of I'm all too familiar with the AANA scene, man. I think it's the fucking devil. I think it does more harm than good for a lot of people. And it works for a very small particular subset of people. Not to try to rant on that, but people that could embrace it and it becomes their new addiction.
Hmm. So we're getting into it already. So I guess since that point, these past 10 years, you've been mainly playing online poker, or have you been playing a mixture of live and online?
Mostly online, I guess. I mean, like every freaking I go in Vegas now has freaking everyone recognizes me from TV now, though. It's crazy, dude. My last 3 Uber drivers freaking recognized me. They're like, oh, just yeah. Took a selfie the other day at the Venetian.
So now you're like you're well known in the live poker world. So what have you gotten anything interesting happen from that, or what's been the experience with that?
It's just like lame. Yeah, he said sure.
Wait, who's that?
Roommate, nothing.
You got a chess partner over there? What's happening there, Poppy?
Nothing, man. I'm at a hotel. I'm in between apartments. They kicked me out of the freaking. I was staying at the Palms for a while, and they got bought by Stations Casino, and they just literally just didn't even warn me either. They're like, it's on you to know.
So the casino got bought, and they just kicked you out.
Yeah, like they stopped offering long-term leases. And like the crazy thing is that they screwed me even worse. Because like, you know, like when you rent at like one of those places, they can make you move rooms or whatever because like you don't actually own it. So like if they sell it, they can make you move. Mm-hmm. So they had me move units like 2 weeks before my move out date, and they didn't even give me the option to leave. Like they just freaking didn't mention it to me anything. So I have to move all my shit. Like I was like a roommate or whatever, a bunch of shit. Move it all. It's like a big thing. They have bellboys, like 3 things. Then 2 weeks later, they're like, oh, yeah, you have to leave. You can't extend your lease. You don't offer long-term leases anymore. They told me I was literally the last person staying there, long-term leases. And I'm just like, all right. And then I tried to apply to like 3 different places, and it's hard given HOAs and whatnot. And I'm a felon, so they protect from scum like me, you know?
They don't like felons. You know, they don't like
I
felons.
know, it's fucked up.
It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
I'm not gonna be a felon in 3 years or so.
You're not gonna be a felon, and when?
2 or 3 years, whenever I get around to getting it thrown away.
What are you a felon for exactly?
Oh my god, I killed someone. No. Just freaking drug possession, man. It's a joke. You're a felon for the most drug possession, dude. It's crazy, right?
Drug possession, huh? So breaking TOS and having some drugs on you, you got a felony for that.
Mm-hmm.
Am
I breaking TOS talking about Twitch or whatever that shit now, or are you allowed to?
What you want to talk about? You want to get into? Let's get into some topics, man.
I don't know what people want. I'm not an entertaining person. I mean, I'm pretty boring now since I've been to Vegas. So.
Nah, man. You see your Twitter feed. Your Twitter feed's pretty fun. Let's get into some current topics, man. So I was making some posts about Bovada, the great game of Pot Limit Omaha, our premier sponsor, and interacting with that game on Bovada. And you mentioned, so you're trying to tell me you're this fucking guy who plays over 50% VPIP, who plays 54, 34, 35 or something like that on every single table for the past 8 months. And you play 4 tables and somehow your stats converge to the same exact thing with a sub 40% C-bet. You're trying to tell me you're this fucking guy. Is that what you're saying to me?
I mean, especially if it's a low C-bet, it's probably me. Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know if that's you.
I don't know. I don't have stats running on Bovada. I don't. I mean, it's anonymous names, so I don't know what my stats are long term. But with the low C-bet, and I would assume so.
I don't believe it, man. I don't know. That's like what do you think about the games on Bovada? What do you think about the anonymous PLO?
I think that it's in order for poker to sustain long term, that they are definitely ahead of the curve in that, and that's how all things should be. For sure. Like, look at how the games are on Bovada and whatnot. Like, you need to give fish the best chance, and that is the great game of PLO. Gives fish the best chance. Like, in No Limit, it's very hard for a non-talented player to go in a heater. In Omaha, the fish will have that feeling like they're winning very often, even if they're terrible. Like, they could just get it in and win. So I think eventually that all sites are going to be doing that, or it's going to die.
So you think that it all needs to be anonymous?
Some version of it, yeah.
See, I mean, I guess there's obviously, there's pros and cons that come with the anonymous factor as well, too, because now you could have people playing more than one account. It's easier for people to collude, and I think those are probably the go-to things.
You could have that anyway, though. That doesn't make it more easy for people to collude. You just have to trust the site to do, and Bovada has issued a lot of refunds and caught people, as far as I've heard.
Well, I can tell you right now, they're not catching a lot of people out there, STEALTHMUNK. So, I mean, sure, they may have caught some people, but I know it's a pretty big problem out there, and I know it certainly is happening. So I can't imagine their security is that.
Making it anonymous doesn't necessarily make it easier to cheat. In that sense, like, people are going to collude anyway.
I mean, it's easier too because you don't have players policing it and turning it in, so you're relying completely on the site to then identify the collusion happening. Whereas if that's not the case, then if you actually see the screen names and you play with these same screen names day after day, or you play with them in each of your sessions, now you can look out for when they do things peculiar, and you'll be able to remember it over time. Whereas anonymously, you have absolutely no idea it's taking place.
Yeah, you're right.
I almost want to tell people how you can potentially combat the potential collusion on Bovada, but that would be the most strategy I've ever said on the entire podcast. So I'm not going to be able to do that. What do you think about the games? Did you think about the games over this past year on the site?
Good.
I think that says it all right there, right? I mean, yeah, that kind of describes it. I mean, it's sort of yeah, they're good. They're pretty good. Are you mainly playing that, or are you mainly playing? I guess you're probably playing that more than playing live poker then.
I don't play live pokers. I played the World Series, and that's it. Live poker's unbearable. I'm terrible at it.
No live, no, not even high stakes live. I remember last summer you kept trying to get a bunch of Venetian PLO games running. You wanted to play heads up, and you were I don't know. You kept going on Twitter about wanting to play.
I'll play 10-25, whatever, 25-50, 5-10, whatever, if I have a certain friend or two in town. But I don't play the high stakes. It's terrible. And I don't have any money.
And you what?
What?
What'd you say? And you what?
And I don't have any money. It's hard to play 501k if you're broke too.
It's hard to play 501k for most people out there, Poppy. It's hard to play that. So I guess with Bovada going to Ignition, what do you think the prospects happening with that are, and what do you think if things are going to change?
I've heard a lot of things about that, and I don't know. I hear it could be both good and bad, but I don't know. It is just a shell of Bovada, though, right? Like, it's not going to be any different.
It's supposed to be, yeah. I guess they're going to be. I mean, obviously, there'll be certain players who probably don't come over. There'll be a lot of the NFL sports bettor guys and the sports bettors in general who don't. It's not as easy to go play poker. So.
Oh yeah, I understand that they're separating the casino players, but it still is just Bovada running the site.
Yeah, I believe it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm assuming that the games are going to be a little bit tougher, and obviously now, there's more and more people playing from Europe. There's more and more people that are, doing things that are a bit out of line on the site. So I feel like the games will, but also I feel like the anonymous factor allows for good players just to do random things just because it's anonymous and they know that they're not going to, it doesn't matter if they do it. No one's going to be able to say like, hey, this guy made a terrible fucking play. He's awful at the game. They can sort of do that because you don't have to face any of that from your peers.
It's not even that. It's more than it's not like criticism. It's that you don't have to worry about them seeing that as part of your game. Like each time you sign in, it could be they don't know it's you. Like, it's not like just criticism. It's that you're not going to be exploited by just playing crazy. Like, if you're only going to play like a 20, 30 hand session every time with a new name, which is how it is because it's anonymous, then like people still can't adjust by 4-betting. You still have to look at the sample, I mean, not this. You still have to look at the player pool. And like, if the player pool as a whole isn't 3-betting crazy enough, then they're not going to be able to adjust and 4-bet you, too wide and whatnot. And just what I always worried was that because, all the hands are public information on Bovada. Like, I would imagine that some, like, super smart, like, fucking Ben Superbot could collect all the data and not develop a super GTO bot, use the super GTO bot, but find the absolute perfect max exploit for the player tendencies of the player pool. And I actually think there might be some of those bots that exist, and it's just my style is just perfect against those bots because of whatever sheer luck, like, not actually smart, but I think that a bunch of those bots exist. And I just am perfect because I'm like the opposite of the player pool. Because like all the hands are public, like in 24 hours, all the hands are out there. So someone smart and with a lot of time, hypothetically, could get like all max data for the player pool, even if you wanted to classify it, break it down to different people too. Like different like fish, knit rag, loose rag, superstar, or like to set 4, 6 or whatever. And then label. And then do whatever. I'm not smart. I don't know how they do it. I only know from reading that punter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 plus 2. But it seems like and there's money there, and like that would make I'd probably am incentivizing some nerd to do that now, and I shouldn't even be talking about it. So, yeah.
If I was a betting man, I would bet
$100,000, and you could have my max exploit.
I would bet a over 90% that something like that exists on Bovada right now because, as you mentioned, they do collect all the data afterwards. And if you've kind of noticed, I wrote about this on 2 plus 2 that the typical regulars playing style has vastly changed in the past 12 months on the site, where it seems like there are players who, just on Bovada, the nature of Bovada games, it allows you to play exploitably in so many spots because it's just so plus EV to do it. Whereas now, some of the regulars, they pass up these clearly plus EV spots often, and it makes sense from some sort of long-term perspective or some sort of playing with a GTO type of approach to these players in terms of staying balanced. But you don't need to worry about balance at all on the site. And these people clearly just take up data, don't do these plus EV plays, but they seem like they'd be winning players. They seem like they're doing stuff that's good. So it doesn't make sense when I don't see those two things happening. It just, yeah, it starts raising a little bit of flags for me. I feel like in these past maybe 5 or 6 months on the site.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. You also believe in cash out curses.
You don't believe in the cash out curse?
No, I'm saying when you try to throw serious stuff out there with cash out curses, it's sort of hard to differentiate.
So wait a sec, you're saying you don't believe in the cash out curse?
I mean, no, I don't believe in the cash out curse.
Listen, I'm a firm believer in the cash out curse. Jesus. Listen, the cash out curse is real. That's not that we're gonna get an expose on this in 10 years from someone behind the scenes at PokerStars that the cash out curse is a very real thing.
Yeah. Recall bias. You're gonna remember the times you cash out and lose, but you're not gonna remember the times you cash out and nothing happens.
That's not true. That's not true. Listen, I'm kidding. Okay, come on. I mean, I do
well,
justify
followers. I don't know.
I do justify it sometimes by saying if you have a losing session, and shout out to my boy George, I justify it sometimes by saying, hey, like it's because the cash out's happening. It's because that's why I'm losing. It's because I cashed out, and maybe there is some truth.
I've run so good, I thought it was rigged for me. Like I thought that maybe I should just like get in more multi-way spots, like just gamble more. Do you have Rabbit on? You have Rabbit on, right?
Yeah.
No way you don't. It's absurd, like Rabbit. Like I feel like Rabbit might be fake. Like they want you to like that. I could believe.
See, now I think you might be being results oriented with the rabbit hunt because I think you only notice the ones that you're going to hit, and you don't notice the ones that wouldn't have mattered.
Absolutely.
So for those that don't know, he's talking about there's rabbit hunt.
I don't know how they do their RNG either. I don't really care. I just think that because it's hard to get money on the site too, a lot of people will never run good enough to actually get a bankroll up there.
Well, that used to be,
I think that
used to be the case. That's not the case anymore.
What?
That's not the case anymore.
Because you could deposit Bitcoins now?
Right, because you have Bitcoins now, so it's much easier to get money on the site. Whereas before, you had to put on $1,800 and run it up. Now
you have to send it to Lady in Peru.
Right, and then so I'm getting at all that, but yeah, now you can use Bitcoin, and you can get. That's why a lot of the the European guys are playing on the site now, because you can use Bitcoins down there.
I thought the Europeans can't play, right? So, like, they can't technically play.
Yeah,
right?
they can't play, right? They can't play, sure. Yeah.
The best was when you sent them to a lady in Peru. They think that you're falling for a romance scam. When you look like me or schmucks, they like warn you at Western Union. They're like, she's not going to marry you.
Is that what they told you?
I mean, it's a very common romance scam, especially because they do it right under the threshold or whatever, because, like, there's some number where it triggers something else, 3,500 or something. So, like, the common romance scam is, like, right below the threshold. And obviously, Bovada goes right under that same threshold, too.
Wow.
They have big signs, and they warn you, like, not to fall for the romance scams.
Shit, man, I didn't know there was a romance scam going on here. That's interesting. I feel like I'd be a good romance scammer.
You probably would be a good romance scammer if poker doesn't work out for you, or this whole podcast thing.
Yeah. Might be down the road here. Kid, you said you want to talk about some of these. What you said?
There's a lot more money. No, I thought we were going to talk about romance scamming. We talk a lot about that.
Wait, you know a lot about romance scamming?
Yeah. I'm an expert on that field.
I'm not following that up with anything. All right, let's talk about this. You mentioned something on Twitter the other day about wanting to talk about the you want to talk about the Doug 86 or Doug 86 and Ben Polk Doug 86 and Ben Polk incident that took place. So let's get into that, man. What's your take on that whole situation with Doug 86 and Ben Polk?
It's a very interesting situation there. My take on it is that, personally, I'm not sure if this is the case, but I think that Doug is just being very opportunistic in, like, bringing this up now because he's in major marketing mode, like doing his little bankroll challenge. And that's why it just makes me feel like it's bad. Like, obviously he's right And like at the time, I think he was just new to the high stakes scene and didn't want to like call out Ben86, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like hypothetically speaking, it doesn't make what happened less wrong or right. Like obviously he got shorted. He should have asked for arbitration. I think most intelligent people agree with that and the whole coaching deal. But like bringing it up now and like how I went about it with the whole personal details and whatnot. I mean, as a poker nerd and fan, I enjoyed it all, but it just seemed wrong. Not cool. I wouldn't want to be like, and also I didn't understand how like the whole like targeting at 501k cap too. Like it's not like he sat him heads up and booted him off the table. He sat him at 501k cap, like gamble it. It's not like he got targeted. You know, it seemed like a whole drama queen thing too. Not trying to throw bang bang shots out at Doug Polk or whatever. I mean, just my opinion.
Coming after you next, StealthMUNK. Gotta watch your back, man. Look at the last guy, man. He dropped the atomic bomb on him took the fucking bomber over from Hawaii and took it over to Japan. Just dropped it on him, man. Been recovering for the last 60, 70 years from that incident. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we talked about the situation a little bit, and so you don't think it was that big of a deal, but you think now it's more of an opportunistic sort of thing.
I think it's a big deal what happened. Like you don't even know how much they shared or how much equity he might have been screwed out of. But I think that bringing it up now is just wrong. Like it's like time passed or whatnot, and like the details. Like he should have just, if he's wrong, he should have just gotten like the small high stakes circle and asked for arbitration. And the whole like having Ike arbitrate, or no, I'm talking about the very sweet thing now too, but because I got jumbled in my head. But the whole, he should have just asked for arbitration to solve it initially. And if Ben didn't agree to that, then Ben would be sort of a scumbag. But I'm pretty sure he's a reasonable person and would have agreed if you talked to him reasonably. People cause problems.
You ever shared a bed with a guy at 5 a.m., Stealth?
What?
You ever shared a bed with a man at 5 a.m., drunk?
Probably. I don't think so, though. Recently. Yeah, I have probably. Bahamas, like 12 years ago, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Is that a common podcast question or something? A jungle man impression?
You know, in the story, there's a story about it being on a bed 5 a.m. I just haven't been in the situation. I'm just trying to figure out if other people have been in that situation before where you're having conversations on a bed 5 a.m.
Heart to hearts. You never had heart to heart?
I've had some heart to hearts, yeah. Had some heart to hearts.
On a bed. Bed's too sexual. You're not comfortable enough with your sexuality there.
Well, I never had a bed at 5 a.m. with someone who scammed me so hard. No, I mean, that's like I never had someone who you know did that part of things. So I don't know.
I don't know how come Jason Kuhn, the big mediator, didn't like step in and like do some Jason Kuhn shit there. I want to know. Like they painted
that's
the
what
podcast.
I was wondering too. Yeah, I was wondering that too. Why didn't
people there weren't even there? As if like Donger was just on his. I mean, I understand like that would be his, but like they're just watching this insanity and didn't like someone like, yo man, like chill before it got to I hate your face. I don't know.
I hate people who look like you, allegedly. I
mean, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised Jay Kuhn didn't step in and do some Jay Kuhn type stuff as well, too. You know, Jay Kuhn, I mean, like, Jay Kuhn will stop a situation from going someplace. It's definitely a fact, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, you know, so what do you think happens with it now? It seems like things are kind of dying down already, and I think everything kind of just goes back to kind of how it was before.
I mean, nothing really happened. It's just people got a taste of Ben86 isn't perfect. Doug Polk isn't perfect. That's all they got. People love that because it shows that they're idols, and that's why people love tabloid magazines, because it shows that rich, powerful people they aspire to be have the same problems as normal peons. Human psyche.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know if people who are fans of poker, they think the guys who are playing the high stakes are guys who are the best, if they're these guys who are just these...
Well, we're talking about MVGers. We're not talking about normal. We're talking about, like, Chicago Juggy podcast listeners. Like, and that's, like, actually how Doug Polk was before he became number one. Like, at the time, he was just, this is when he first got into high stakes. So Ben86 was still like the fucking endboss to him. So he didn't want to be like he was like, who cares if he stole 20K in equity? That's honestly what he was. I know that he even admitted that's what he was thinking. Who cares if he stole it? Like, I'll do business with him in the future. And that's fine to think that and not want to step on toes. I understand that. I'd probably react the same way, to be honest. Like, most people would. Like, who cares? You know, I understand shit happened. I'll hit him up for a strategy later, you know? But then to bring it up now with all the personal details and just say that Alex Dreyfus inspired it just seemed like, yeah, okay, buddy. I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. I mean, yeah, you know, I talked with Doug on the podcast. We talked about this, so I understand where he's coming from with things too. And you know, it's like an awkward situation where obviously, you know, something happened. He thought they were friends. Turns out, you know, they're not friends, and he, you know, thinks the guy hates him, and you know, he probably wants to come out and say something about it, but you know, has reservations about it. And now, obviously, you know, it's a time where it makes more sense to say something. So, I mean, yeah, you know, it does help on that other friend as well, too. But I can understand maybe not want to do something straight away about it and then want to say something about it right now.
Yeah. If he wanted, then he could still leave some stuff out that he did. He didn't need to include everything if he wanted to just warrant. I mean, he wanted to cause the drama bomb NVG blow up, the poker news and everything. Like, obviously, that's what he wanted. So he got it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like he shouldn't piss on Ben and tell him it's raining, you know.
So what do you think about the other stuff that happened with Ben86 and with Barry Sweet? What about the cross booking? That
was insane to me. I couldn't even that was crazy. And I understand too where Barry's coming from, that he agreed with whatever the arbitrator said. And I read something in the thread from one high stakes PLO guy that said he arbitrated and the guy rejected the arbit. What? Do you remember that post?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? You can't reject. That's what arbitration is. Two people agree. That's the whole reason arbitration exists, is because even though all this shit happened after the fact and it's obvious Barry got screwed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Barry rightfully, and if I was Barry too, I wouldn't even want any. I wouldn't accept money from Ben because, as Barry said, he's allowed. We needed the German to say it, but it doesn't matter who won. It doesn't matter. The arbitrator fucked up. He agreed he'd accept the arbitrator's ruling, which is honorable and good, and he says that. But yeah, I never understood. The only thing that I remember, I thought about this a lot, and the only case that Ben has is that in the whole conversation, they said they did the whole conversation, and he did the whole rake thing where they missed, and he said yes, you know, about the rake. So you could argue that it never was an accurate deal booked because there was misunderstanding. So that's why, I'm sort of, if I was an arbitrator, I would have ruled a partial in one way or the other. Because he said, so I pay X% rake. So that means that neither of them truly understood. And if someone says that and you're talking about a potentially 6-figure deal, you can't just say, it's the honest is on Ben too. Even though obviously Barry fucked up more. Ben also fucked up by saying yes in regards to the rake. It's crazy that it was just yeah, whatever, for a 6-figure deal. It's LOL poker players. But if I was an arbitrator, I would have ruled something. But then it's the whole idea that you have to accept an arbitrator's ruling. And it's crazy that he suggested Ike when Ike had already talked to him about it. And it's sort of as if Ike just reached this God status for poker players, that it was just oh, no matter what Ike says goes, we'll just go to Ike. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I've had actually arbitration in the past and I voted Ike, and if I know I'm right about something, I've actually had situations you want to pick someone that you know is not an idiot. So it's oh, Ike. But still, he talked to him. That's insane. It's arbitration works if people are rational and normal about it and don't reject. I can't believe that he's. Yeah, poker players don't know how to solve problems sometimes. And the whole passive aggression, waiting for years to cause all this. I don't know.
So what do you think should happen in that situation? You think that Ben should pay the full amount, or do you think that it should be a wash, or it should be half of the money, or a third of the money?
Well, I already said that. Given nothing should happen now, because they agreed to the arbitration and some unnamed idiot ruled, however. You know?
Mm-hmm.
People generally agree on that. If I was Ben, I'd offer some sort of like token, like gesture to Barry in hindsight, you know. But in the actual situation, I don't know. I'd have to look back at it. But like I said, it would be it doesn't matter who won though. Like that's the thing that they kept on talking about who won. Like that's crazy that these rational poker players that are taught to like ignore results and whatever, like don't understand that it doesn't matter who won. Like it's completely irrelevant. It doesn't matter what he thought was going to happen. Like it's crazy. Ben or whatever they keep talking about that. I don't know. People get emotional, I guess.
I try not to read too much of the NVG posts about these specific subjects because a lot of times it's people who have absolutely no understanding of what's going on, writing the longest opinions about the situation. So it's just you try not to let those sort of thoughts get in your mind because they're just coming from a very uninformed place a lot of the time.
There's pages and pages of people analyzing me and NVG. I love reading those.
Who's your favorite NVG? Or you got some favorite NVG posters?
I don't read the names. They're all the same.
They're all the same. They blend together.
I also try not to. I used to argue in NVG a lot.
Not anymore. What's kind of your life like now, kid? Are you mainly playing just mainly online poker? What else are you really doing with yourself?
A lot of trying to make money, survive. Boring now.
So you got online PLO. You got Twitter. You like Twitter. You're on Twitter. You tweet some fun stuff out on there.
Yeah, it's funny. I tweet when I'm down swinging, because when I'm up swinging, I grind nonstop. So like you could actually my tweet frequency and that you could like tell it by my graph, and it's funny. Like people will like check up if they haven't heard it from me, and like because I'm just running good and playing every hour of the day. I'm actually doing this now because I've been running good lately. I actually lost last night. Yeah.
What's the most amount of money you had on Bovada?
The most amount of money I've had on Bovada. I'm not sure. I ran up 6 figures though, but I'm also like staked and pieces out and whatnot. So I don't know how much money I've had myself personally on Bovada. I don't know. I actually, because Bovada's ending, I've asked my. I want to get a total and see if I could get some sort of graph, and we could have our. Didn't you say you were going to drop a graph?
Yeah, I'm gonna post a graph for the past 12 months when Bovada officially goes off, and
yeah, I want to do that too.
But I haven't played too much, but I mean, I made some money on the site, but and I don't have all my hands because you only have 7 days to get your hands. Sometimes I just forgot, so that's.
I don't even. What do you mean you only have 7 days?
So to get your hands off Bovada, you only have 7 days to request the hands. So after 7 days, you can't get the hands anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
They don't exist. You can't look further than a week ago.
No, I mean you can't download them. You might be able to see them, but you cannot download them further.
You're just talking about downloading the hands.
Right, downloading the hands to be able to put them into Hold Manager or Poker Tracker. Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't even have Hold Manager. I don't understand how to do that. I have just some HUD, but that's it.
Yeah, well, it's going to be hard to put a graph out there. You don't got the HUD, puppy.
No, but if I have a HUD, doesn't the HUD capture the hands that I have? Like, no, I would assume that there's a way.
The HUD just captures. I don't know exactly how the HUD works, but yeah, the HUD doesn't capture the hands. It just has some other way.
You're sure? I'm pretty sure it does.
I don't.
Well, how would it? It doesn't look at the images. It captures the hands.
Yeah, I don't think so. So what are you using? You're using like Ace Card Catcher or something like that?
I think so. I don't know the works with computers. I don't even set it up.
I mean, I don't think so, but I don't think it does.
You think that it just looks at the... How does it not capture the hands? How else would it give you the stats if it doesn't capture the hands?
I'm not 100% sure how it works. That's a good question. I don't know, but it doesn't save a database. It doesn't really save anything to your computer. So I don't. I mean, you've thought that this program's been downloading all your hands?
No, I didn't. I mean, I don't care really. Like I said, it's anonymous screen names. Why do you even? I mean, unless it's to drop a graph. Like, if I can't drop a graph, I can't drop a graph. Oh well.
You think somebody made $1 million on there in the past year or two, at PLO specifically?
Not 1 million. I mean, unless a person has control of all of the bots.
Yeah, I could see
But
that.
do you think that there's just one player type that always tanks until the last second and calls on certain river decisions? I wonder if that's a bot, or if it's a person, or if it's a bot-person combo. That's
well, in theory. Listen, I don't want to give the bot strategy, but in theory, they should be balancing these tendencies. I mean, if a smart guy's building a 10-20 bot, then
yeah, they know. Anyone smart enough to build a bot has already thought about this all. It's not like you're giving the info out. It's all out there anyway from anyone that cares. It makes us feel stupid to talk about it, but it's all out there. Especially, it's not going to affect the games at all.
Yeah,
the Chicago Joy podcast listener is going to be inspired.
It could be. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty confident that I remember at the beginning of the year, because I had a few 100K in very short time periods, and I'm pretty sure someone's made $1 million in the past year or two or less on the site, because there's just so many games. Especially, there's been so many games running. The games are extremely good. And they've been getting progressively a little bit worse in terms of the types of players. But previous to the Bitcoin, the games were like, I don't know how to describe the games. But so I definitely think that somebody, if they put a lot of hours in, then I think that they would have made a lot of money. But I think that's the challenge, is that once you make like 200,000-300,000, then you're just less inclined, I feel like, to put in hours. I know that's how I get when you make a bunch of money. I'm just like, well, like, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing every day. You go on there. It's anonymous. You play. I mean, it's kind of very repetitive. And
I know I can't do it. Like, I get burnt out with the anonymous nature. I don't get burnt out in anything really. But it's the anonymous Bovada. Like, after a certain amount of time, I can't do it.
Yeah, it gets. There's no like. I mean, for me, it's like there's no other challenge. There's no other stake to jump up. It's just 10-20, that's it. So you play 10-20, and then it's like the same thing, anonymous, all the same. I mean, it's just, it's not as
more like a real job, making hundreds of thousands clicking buttons. Don't know.
Struggle's real, puppy. The struggle's real, man. Oh my God. Yeah, it's a tough way to make a living, right? So you have any PLO Bovada strategy to give to the people out there in the world?
Grind. That's really all you have to do is show up and grind.
That's it.
And also, as you said, don't worry about balance. So many people are true Phil Galfond-esque, like, very strategy, and like, what it takes to beat poker is being better than your opponents, not knowing. Like, Poker Stars is just a completely different game. Like, I'm very well versed in Poker Stars and the highest levels and like how the games are playing there and everything. And it's just a completely different game. Like, it's to the point where I can't even, like, if I'm grinding Bovada a lot, I can't grind anything else, because like you need to have a certain mindset and a certain game. And like could you imagine grinding Bovada seriously, like hours a day, and then also hopping onto Star Zoom? Like, I mean, I guess if your mind can
I imagine that? Yes, I could imagine that. I mean, I could imagine doing it. I can imagine doing it, but I mean, there are people doing that now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not at all the same strategy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think anonymous PLO is almost like a different stratosphere of a game compared to Zoom or compared to regular tables. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Once you realize that, you break free of what normally bounds you, then you'll be good.
Yeah, I think the big downside to that is that as you start to get better at the anonymous PLO, you start to get progressively much worse at Zoom and at regular tables. And
that's the thing. Like, you have to be able to switch and not have that in your head, or it affects your game, as hard as it sounds.
Yeah, that one's
You
tough.
can't 35 at Star Zoom. You won't win. Trust me. I don't know if you've tried.
You tried this strategy before?
I've not tried 53 at 35 at Star Zoom. No.
Yeah, I mean, I think what happens is a lot of the qualities of playing PLO that make you very, very good at the PokerStars games don't apply in any capacity on Bovada. So it's like if you try to do these things and you're trying to exploit these players' weaknesses, you can't do it because that just doesn't exist. That opportunity isn't there.
There's a Jungle Man post or something on MGT that captures it very well. He said something like, if you have an exploitative decision or a GTO and you choose the whatever decision, then you're just an idiot, like in a vacuum or whatever. There's some Jungle Man post on that I actually think is very poignant. Someone will find it, I'm sure.
What do you think about the Stars PLO cash game ecosystem right now?
The Stars PLO cash game ecosystem. I heard Sean Winter was degenning a lot lately.
Bang bang.
Bang bang. Well, I haven't seen the games at all. I'm on the Bovada streets. I'm in the US, dog.
See, you haven't been paying attention to the PokerStars games?
I heard the Noel 7 was gambling. That's all. My friend said that he had 6 tables of 100, 200 one day, and the next day he was at 6 tables of 1-2. So I don't know. Maybe he ran into some dream machines. I'm a big Sean Winter fan. I love playing poker with him.
I'm a massive Sean Winter fan. I like him a lot. He's very fun to play with.
At the same time, if I had to bet on a Sean Winter versus some Dream Machine users, I'd bet on the Dream Machine.
All right, let's talk about this dream. What do you know about the Dream Machine?
I don't know anything about it. Let's talk about this Dream Machine. What do you know about the Dream Machine?
What do you know about the Dream Machine, kid?
First rule about Dream Machine, Poppy, is you don't talk about the Dream Machine.
So you know about the Dream Machine, then, don't you?
Yeah. I can tell you, but I'd have to tell you and all of your listeners. The Dream Machine says 52-35, 40 c-bet.
I don't know if that's you, bro. Who do you think's got a Dream Machine?
I crushed your soul.
That's not true.
How many people do you think 4 tables up for hours on Bovada?
Very small number. I mean, very small number of people are going to play much heads up in general on Bovada. So
and go to war like both. So obviously, I always wondered.
Would you always wonder?
Who I was playing.
I mean, yeah, the thing about the game, you can't like. People always say, why are you not posting your graph? Why are you not talking about playing poker anymore? I mean, shit, because like Bovada is this place where if you bring in a couple more regulars, that's very going to change the dynamic of the games. It's going to change everything very drastically.
The people capable of changing the game, because they're above the 10-20, basically.
Right.
There's not many people that exist. Like that's why like. Broke he's an idiot and all his stakes on there and like it's not like you're gonna get any Dream Machine users really unless it's a massive scale. Who knows?
Who knows, man? Dave Rickson says the drugs, the hookers, the blow. Let's have a story, Poppy. You got a story for us, Poppy?
Do I have a story? I think it's been a while, yeah. No, I don't have a good story now. I wouldn't be able to tell a good one.
No recent stories, huh?
No recent stories. Like I said, my life's boring now. Grind, Bovada. I left the whole crazy East Coast life to escape to grind.
What was that one story that happened where you I don't remember specifics of it. I think you drove to Georgia or something like that. You were at a house party and some drinks were involved. Maybe some people were breaking TOS with some activities took place. Remember this story?
Yeah, it was a drinking bet. There's a video of it.
Yeah, what happened with that? What was the deal with that thing?
A young 17 or 16-year-old and big drinker, because I thought I was the man. And people talk shit on the internet, and everyone thinks they could outdrink everyone. And I was like, I'll bet $10,000 I could drink a handle of liquor faster than you. And Yellow Sub was like, okay. Had some dude that wasn't even a good drinker. Staked him 90-10. Actually angle shot me in it, because at the time I had only drank vodka. Or I was going to do the bet with a girly drink, like a Smirnoff or something, And he gave me a fucking handle of Jack after I got out of a limo with a bunch of frat people cheering. It was like, oh, it's all we have. Before. Or I would have drank it just like this. 90 seconds, done. Instead, it took 5 minutes. And I got blackout and bragged about having lots of money and was a douchebag, and people thought I was the most Asperger's antisocial human being in the world, and people talk shit. So you talk after fucking with video cameras and after drinking a handle of liquor. It could be the most antisocial Asperger's person in the world too. True. Who knows?
So this was when you were 16 or 17? 16 or 17. Can you imagine that happened now? People would be like, wait, this 17-year-old kid's playing online poker. Like, no one questioned this back in the day or something? I don't understand.
I mean, I had mandatory gambling anonymous. I got arrested. Judge said I remember after I got out of jail, part of my release was I couldn't play on my computer, and I remember I couldn't use computer like they give to fucking child porn people, And obviously the first thing I do is go on my computer. It was like, the judge said you can't do that, and I'm like, all right, call him. I'm in contempt of court. Call him. Go do it. Whatever. Imagine me not using my computer.
So wait, how'd you get arrested exactly? What happened?
I was just quarters, and she took the money, taking the money, and it was just a hectic living environment, and they just gave me the biggest bullshit. What's the most bullshit charge they could offer someone? Something like that, or disturbing the peace is what they gave me. Just because they didn't know what to do with me. I remember the cops were halfway on my side then. It was one of my few rare good interactions with cops in my life. When I was homeless, I had a lot of more bad interactions with cops and learned to not really like them, but they supported me. They gave me McDonald's in jail.
So you get out of jail, no computer, back on the computer, playing online poker straight away.
Obviously. Imagine not playing online poker back then.
That's true. Especially if you made $1 million and you're 17 years old. I mean, you're gonna want to play.
1 million. And I had made, I don't know.
No.
Good time.
I made a tweet recently about Dan Coleman and Fedor Holes, the young prince. He said, "I really wish you idiots, bang bang. I really wish you idiots had any grasp that even if you give Fedor and Dan Coleman 10x edge rest of the field, how insane their runs are."
Yeah.
So you're basically saying that the runs that Fedor's had, the ones that Dan Coleman had back in 2014 are just astronomically insane.
I'd like to make an adjustment to this. Fedor is by far the best. I just was Dan's got me, and he said, I think I saw him yesterday. He said that he's never run this good, and he hasn't. His name in there, because I know Coleman from before he was anyone. Man, days go way back. And I just was trying to throw him up there. I wasn't trying to bring him. And it's by far the best. And what I was saying was, people in poker generally think that luck, they view luck as sort of like a negative thing, as if someone Like if they're like, oh, you're a lucky fish, you know, they as lucky as derogatory, yeah. And it's just retarded. Like, as I'm saying, luck is independent of skill. Like, you could actually say Fedor is 20 times the best. You could say, immediately say, assume and run the sim. And say Fedor at the start of every fucking run, he has 20 times the edge, 10 times the edge of his nearest competitor. And then you run that sim, and it's still fucking absurd how good he's run. Like, it's still fucking insane. And that's just what I was saying. Like, there's all this debate. Like, if you look at MVG, oh, it's fucking tournament coin flipper idiots. No, it's insane how good he's running. It's insane how good he is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anymore with Fedor, dude. He just every tournament. I just don't get it. I don't know. It's every these high rollers.
Someone is gonna if you have millions of people are flipping coins all at the same time, and you just view tournaments as just coin flipping competitions instead of cards. Just break it down to coin flipping competitions. All these various people keep flipping coins for 20 plus years. Eventually, some fucking lucky motherfucker is gonna have it run heads 30 straight times, and that's Fedor. That don't make no sense.
That's Fedor, huh? Fedor might argue that.
No, I mean, I think he's the best. I'm not talking shit. Like I said, like, you could assume he has 20 times. It's just actually completely absurd. It's the best. If I could have action of anyone in the Harley scene, I would take Fedor. But I think he's also by far the luckiest. It's obscene.
No, yeah, I try not to think about it too much, to be fair. The whole tournament world, tournaments, I just watch. I just sit back, watch, observe. I try not to get too deep into the thought process and the thoughts behind it and then what happens and all that kind of stuff, because the way that the tournament world's viewed.
Playing live tournaments.
Yeah.
If you're just playing live tournaments, you're not even a favorite to make money year to year now, I'm pretty sure. It depends on the schedule you do. So if that's the case and you're trying to be a poker pro, unless you already have X income, you know, like, tournaments are just a fun side thing for me or most people. Like, I mean, people that think that tournaments are reliable or like, I'm going to be a professional tournament player. I don't know. I don't think that anyone, like, I don't even think Fedor Holz is a favorite if he grinded tournaments. How many tournaments does a live tournament player play a year? Like 80, 100? If they grinded the full circuit? Something like, they're not a favorite to make money year to year, no doubt. They're probably like 30% or 40% to make money.
Interesting. You don't think anyone's a favorite to make money over?
I'm not talking. No, they're a favorite to make. I mean, I don't want to be clear. They make EV. Their positive expectation. They probably make 200-300 in EV, maybe even more. I'm just using monkey math on the spot. But I don't think that. I think it's close to around 50 for some, depending on the. I guess because they raised the payouts to 15%, that's going to make it better for them. But I think that it's about 50 around to have a winning year. I'm saying variance is so high in tournaments, and that there's enough people traveling, and like edges are getting lower and lower, that you're not a favorite to have a winning year on the EPT high roller circuit. There's no way. Like, you could have a bad year, like the player of the year, Timex or whatever, he's going to go, oh, he went 0 for like the last EPT season or some shit like that. Like, there's a lot of swings.
Got to ask a tournament player about this situation, because I've never thought about this at all. If, like I said, man, I found that as a poker player, it's more peaceful just to not think about anything tournament related. Don't think about anything how it works. Don't think about the tournament world. Don't think about any of that stuff, and just.
Yeah. It's a lot peaceful, but then every time I even leave and play poker, people fucking remind me of my tournament.
Oh yeah, your tournament. Yeah, so you know, obviously you're big time now with your recent main event run. You and Daniel Negreanu sparring at the featured table and all that sort of good stuff. So what do people say to you exactly when they come up to you and they talk about your experience on ESPN?
They say, so sick, bro. So sick. Set over set. Sorry. Like, they look sad. Then they ask for selfies of me, and they say they like me, and they're the kind of people that have been dealt with Daniel Negreanu on TV so much for the past years and have grown to kind of hate him a little. And they're like, wow, I'm so glad someone finally said it. Like, I get so many little snide comments about, like, how they're like, yeah, you tell Negreanu. Like, closet, like, not really hate. Like, it's like, I don't hate Negreanu. I mean, he's a good dude. Like, he's just sort of intolerable sometimes. Like all choice people.
I'm not saying nothing.
Nothing to say?
I got nothing to say. I'm not listening. I'm fucking with the choice people, man. They go come kill me. Listen, I can't say nothing about the choice people. Choice people, you guys, I like what you guys bring to the table. I like all the choice center guys I know. I like them. I like what they say. They say some good stuff. So
they do say some good stuff. They definitely do say some good stuff. I'm not going to hate completely on choice. It's the whole...
but, go ahead.
Well, actually, no, they do say some good stuff.
But
I think your Haralabos, I mean, I couldn't say anything that wouldn't sound like paraphrasing Haralabos for your little podcast with him. He hits a nail on the head. Wow, I could look someone in the eyes for once. Life has meaning. I don't need to just...
Listen, I got nothing to say about this, man. I don't know. I like everybody I know goes choice, comes out a better person, comes out a stronger person, comes out a more mentally strong person. So
maybe that says something about the subset of people gullible enough to go to choice in the first place.
You know, another thing I realized about choice, kind of like tournaments, man. I tried to think about it too much, honestly, because you know, when you start thinking about it and you start putting logic and rational thoughts behind these things, it just you start thinking, oh yeah, I don't know, man. You hear so many different opinions. People are saying this about, you know, choice, say it's like a cult. People are saying it changed my life. This guy's saying, oh, it's okay. So I mean, I don't know. I don't really have too many strong opinions about it unless I experience it myself. So yeah, it seems like the people I know, a lot of people seem to be in good spirits, but they can go a little bit overboard in terms of talking about different things, and you're sort of like, hey, calm down a little bit. So
cutting your intentions.
Yeah. You mentioned something about Negreanu being the guy who's always on television. So I thought about that a lot, and I don't know, it seems like there's the guys who made it big in, you know, they were always on television, you know, when ESPN and ESPN2 kept replaying shows, it seems like those guys there just won't be many more of those guys because there's just not enough poker on television that's viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. So it's kind of like we have the guys who made it really, really big back in the day. And then, you know, as more and more guys drop off, you're just going to have only a couple guys who are going to stay super relevant from a American general audience public perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that poker on TV is much more than a just niche market. I don't think it's ever going to get big, like the whole Dreyfus thing with the taking it a sportify poker. I think that the people that like poker sort of just like poker, and like it's never going to be mainstream as it was when it blew up, you know? Like that was just, the economy was good, and that's mainly the main force behind poker tournaments. Like that and online poker. Like if online poker came back to the US and had online satellites, then poker would blow up too. It's as huge as it was. Unless there's online satellites in California and whatnot. I remember reading that California had like 30 or 20%, some absurd number of the PokerStars market was just California.
I remember reading that too.
That is so insane, and like that's crazy. Like that means that just shows how big Black Friday was, and how if we had even online poker just in California, if that bill passed, how much that would change. I mean, everyone would move to California then, if there was, because if that was that big of a percent of PokerStars, then people that travel to Canada, like Doug Polk, he would know, everyone would just, as much as I don't like California, I would be in California if that's the case. Like you couldn't be a pro poker player and not live in California. You have to. That's like its own country if it's 20 or 30%. Or the number, I want to find it or whatever, Dan Fleischman or whatever tweeted it, but I remember reading it and I was like, what? I was like, you're sure that's right? And he was like, yeah, dude. Okay.
And I think I disagree with what you said about poker could be that big again, because if the online system, you know, the online ecosystem does change over the next couple of years, and mainstream people like ESPN and Fox Sports start getting really behind it. I know Fox Sports just signed something with WPT But I think it has that potential. You know, they were just showing it so much. It was on NBC, it's on ESPN. They're showing replay after replay after replay. So if that was to happen again, I think it does become really popular again, but it's sort of contingent on online poker, I feel like, being something that is existing in the United States. And that's sort of the case, is if that's going to happen and when it will happen.
I agree. And I think that it's just the two major things. People love being like, oh, it's because the main event winner doesn't address the media. They're looking at all random silly shit. It's the economy and the online poker are going to be the two main factors, and everything else is just bullshit, pretty much. We're so negligent, it doesn't matter. Like, oh, 2 more people are going to not like poker because Joe McKeon's our champ and he doesn't do interviews. So.
No, what? No way. I think Joe McKeon's one of the best ambassadors we've ever had as a main event champion. I think he's carried the flag of poker far and wide. He's done so much for the great game of poker. You kidding me?
I think he has. I think he's the best. He said it was set.
Shout out to Joe McKeon, man. We're actually probably going to have Joe McKeon on the pod sometime soon. I think he's on a date right now. Shout out to Joe. Hope things are going well tonight, my friend. And we look forward to hearing about it when we get him on the podcast, man. Let's read some comments, guys. We got a lot of comments. We got a lot of people out there in the chat. Jacob Martinez, Papi. He says, what'd Jacob say, man? He said, I'd be honored to get check raised by Fedor. Okay. Who else we got out there? Waluski, what up, Papi? Chandler Booker, Cold Rummer. What's up, Cold Runner? What's happening, Papi? Marco Wallin. Nasty Nate K. What's up, Nasty? Brad Plastic. Who else we got? Kip Slip, Hooded, Francisco Frias, Dave Rickson, David Huber, my boy. What's up, puppy? Shazam, Kazam, ignoring prop bet question. I don't know which question you're talking about, dog. Calm down, Poppy. Jacob Martinez again. What's up, man? You want to get some shout outs, Stealth? Who you want to give a shout out to, buddy?
Who do I want to give a shout out to? I have no shout outs.
Hello. Hello, friend. Who are you?
He is Dubs. He's a
Hello,
badass.
Dubs.
He fucks shit up.
Is this your dog?
Partially.
Partially?
My roommate's dog mostly. She's my dog too. I never leave the house.
Oh, Shazam says, what happened with the DNegs StealthMUNK prop bet?
Oh, the whole idea of the prop was I was like really broke at the time, like really struggling or whatever. And then like with the cash or whatever, like I was still pretty much broke, but I wasn't like, because I had like very small percent of like 411s after I paid some people back. I was like surviving. So like the whole idea was like Negreanu was changing me, you know, or like helping me, or it was so like whole like it was part of his whole choice center ideology, you know. And I'm not gonna beg someone for a free roll or like harass them for a free roll because the bet was basically a free roll, you know. Like I could play Daniel Negreanu heads up PLO whenever he wants. I could walk around Vegas and have enough money to play him, and he could pick his stakes whenever. It's just the whole idea was him helping me out. It wasn't about like the prop, you know. And like I'm not gonna like harass him. I was like, yo, so if we want to do this, let's iron it out. Like how are we gonna measure the body fat percentage? Blah blah blah. And he sort of just was over it. Like he was not really into poker after the main event, and it just sort of fell apart. Like, I mean, I could have tried to push it more, and I'm sure he would have went through with it. But and like everyone's like, oh, you're an idiot. Like I'm not gonna fucking harass someone I'm not even that close with over a free roll they offered me, especially when situations change too. You know, like it was when it was because like the main event cash changed my situation. So I'm not gonna be like that's just like not. Like how I would act personally.
No, that makes sense. So you're going to do something where you had to lose a certain percentage of your body fat. He was going to give you a free roll. I think it was
a heads up PLO match for 100K.
100K, yeah. And then so you catch the main event. Your situation changes. He sort of loses his desire to do the prop bet or whatever, and you just decide, hey, let's just let it go away.
Well, no, what happened was I was really depressed after the main event for a while, and I was in my cave, sort of like over it. And then like a couple months passed to when like it was going to happen. Like we had a semi-date and I DM'd him. I was like, I DM'd him on Twitter. I was like, so where do you want to do the body fat weigh-in or whatever? Or like what's acceptable for you, you know? And he was just sort of like over it. And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, sorry, Daniel, you offered me a free roll. We have to make this work. Like,
I mean, you could have made a blog post in NVG and made a video about it.
I could have. Yes, I could have. But no, that's not how I roll.
I don't know, man. NVG post seemed like it might have been in line for this situation.
Yeah, it would be in line, but it'd be all right.
What do you think about the GPL stuff there, Poppy? What do you think about the GPL in general? And you got the trade money scan, the trade money 2016 scandal took place, stuff like that. What do you think about that, man?
I think that the GPL is never going to work. Just like I think any outsider trying to basically, poker has its own economy. You know what I'm saying? Oh shit! What the fuck? Damn you, Dubs! Get out! I think
take it easy.
I think any outsider, poker has its own economy, and I think that Alex Dreyfus is not the Messiah. But I think that he paid everyone back, though. Does he actually have money? Like, he talks like he has, like, multiple millions. I was just surprised that he had to borrow $30K and couldn't pay it back right away. Like, didn't he sell a company for, like, $6 million that he was the majority owner of or something? Like,
something like
I
that.
remember reading that.
I don't know the specifics of how much money it was sold for, but yeah, I think it was the Chili Poker. And
now he doesn't have $30K for 6 months? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I've never had over, like, 300 or 400, like, liquid to my name. Like, I could see how that disappears, but I always think, like, if I had that much and I'm not, and if you don't have any leaks, like, he doesn't even drink. Like, I don't understand where the money goes.
Entrepreneur life, buddy. Entrepreneur life. That's what he said. I don't know. That's what I read. Entrepreneur life. That's what I read. I don't know, man. I mean, hopefully we'll get 80 on a podcast sometime. We can ask him about this, but I think that's a great question.
What is entrepreneur life like? Everyone that has some charisma and an idea, you just throw a couple $100,000 at until you're broke again?
I don't know. Maybe. I have no idea. I don't know what entrepreneur life means, but I know that's what was alleged in the situation. Yeah. Isn't that entrepreneur life? I don't know. I don't know much about entrepreneur life.
Entrepreneur life is taking a small little get-together with friends where you read NVG high-stakes threads and eventually getting signed by poker stars.
Entrepreneur life. I like it, man. Yeah, so I know GPL's coming back, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens with things because, I mean, I don't know where it goes from here. Like,
nothing changed. I mean, it's just people have a little less respect or trust in Dreyfus, I guess. But, I mean, he paid back with interest. Like, who knows? I mean, maybe he just has money in investments or whatever. Everyone always talks about investments. I don't know.
Listen, how much money you got? I got. It's all tied up in investments, dog. It's all tied up. I remember that. Yeah. How'd you get busted out of the tournament? I busted out with top set. Oh, what happened? How'd you get stacked? I got stacked with top set. I lost with aces all in pre-flop. I got money in investments. I'm into real estate. I'm into the stock market. Yeah. Okay. We got it.
Money, Poppy. You know. Cash is king.
Cash is definitely king, man. Is Bitcoin king? What do you think about Bitcoin?
Dude. Oh, you're going to tell me, bro. I made some of my friends very rich off Bitcoin. I was in Bitcoin on the ground floor. I was the fucking representative of that fucking website. That online Bitcoin poker site. If I kept all my Bitcoin, I'd have fucking not six. I'd have fucking like whatever, 8 figures.
What you got there? Some 20s?
20s, baby.
Yeah. Make it rain. Yeah.
My bankroll right here, actually. This is $200.
What about Bitcoin money? What about that Bovada money?
That's the thing. For a while before they had Bitcoin cash outs, I had money on Bovada and whatever staking deal, and I was so broke in real life. I would be like swinging tens of thousands on 1020, and then because I wanted to get cash for the World Series because it was right before the World Series, I'd be borrowing money to play Venetian poker tournament, like Venetian 200, and being tilted when I bust it. And going online and playing 1020, and it just felt like fake money. Like, that's the thing. Like, it just looks like numbers on a screen. It's all fake. When, like, I really wanted to win cash. And, like, getting bad beat in a $200 tournament stings a lot more. Also, that Geraldo thing where he said about them seeing you take your chips is very true. I hate it when they, like, the smug idiot take, it really bothers me.
What do you think people think when you take their chips?
I'm sure it bothers him a lot more.
Yeah. I don't know. I never got that. I never feel anything when guy takes my chips, and I don't know. I never get too affected by it, really. I didn't know people even felt that way, where they got this anger inside of them, where they got this, like.
Never seen some fucking internet fucking whiz kid stack you or win a big pot of you and then start texting away on his phone with a little smug look on his face, like thinking he's king of the world.
I guess
You've never seen that? Like, he girl calls you or whatever, and like you could just like
he's like texting his friend Billy, I just fucking I called him down with king high in the he does the you know what I mean?
I get that all the time, dude, because everyone when they play a pot versus StealthThMUNK, it's like they're fucking they just fucking busted the pro.
No, you know what? Okay, you know what? I'm gonna take this back. I was playing the 25K PLO this year, and Butters was on my right, and we played a big pot together where I made a value bet on the river, and he like tanked forever, and then called with like a one better hand than me. And then I see him pick up his phone and start texting. I'm like, what are you texting? I'm like, what are you doing on the phone, bro? He's like, I'm telling the backers or something like that. I'm just like, this motherfucker, man. Yeah, so you're right. That's true. Especially when the guy's sitting next to you, man. That's just tilting as fuck. He's like, picks up the phone and fucking slapping on the phone. It's like, calm the fuck down, man. Show some respect to the guy who lost the pot. You're right. It does tilt me, StealthThMUNK. Maybe you're right. You're bringing out some feelings in me right now.
Act like you've been there before, dog. Do you think Ivy's ever done that? Do you think Ivy's ever won a big pot and started texting someone?
He might have, right? You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. He could have. Ivy could have. You think like a $2 million pot? You don't think he does that?
I think he texted about reserving the spot in the club after not telling the hand history.
Yeah, it's true. What's the biggest stakes you played live, StealthThMUNK?
Not big live. I'm a toe box. I'm like a jittery person. I don't want to play versus actual good poker players really big. I mean, I played in 200, 400 once, but I mean, I didn't have close to all my action. I actually remember this story very well when I played 200, 400 because I actually don't have a cash out curse, but I believe I got karma curse because this happened like 4 or 5 years ago. It was when Sammy still showed up at the World Series or whatever. And this random 6 max game popped off at the Rio with like, it was like me, Cole South. It was 6 max, 200, 400, and it was me, Cole South, 1 other pro, and then 3 whales. It was like dream, like shit like that doesn't happen anymore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I sold half to Charter or some piece to Charter, and he actually shorted me. By accident, obviously. He's not a scumbag. But in the whole transactions or whatever, like, because they actually don't even have entrepreneurs anymore, but they didn't have my information for the taxes or whatever, so one of the gentlemen at the table, the whale actually, he took my, he bought it for me, and I just tossed him the cash that Charter gave me that said was worth like 20,000 or whatever, you know? Mm-hmm. And it ended up being short. And I was like, texting him, I was like, it's short. He's like, no, it's not, it's right. And then eventually he finds out it's short. It was like stuck to the bottom of his box or something. And in all these transactions, I'm like 90% sure that I ended up shorting the guy. Like, he ended up paying me back for like when he like tossed me back the short money, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The chips back. So I ended up like profiting. Like, I was pretty sure I was profiting a little, and like it thought in my head, but at the same time, I'm playing big live. Like, this was my first time playing that big live too. And I also don't want to free roll myself too, you know? And I'm like trying to figure it out all at the same time while playing. And then of course I got stacked by Cole South. I was bluffing. Probably played the hand super terrible. And the money's gone, so I can't make it right after. And I always think that I had a pretty bad downswing and ended up homeless after that. And I always think back to that time. And I was like, if I just spoke up at the time and I said, if I spoke up to that man, like I accidentally stole, like I could have possibly stolen, like not intentionally, but like 9 or some amount of money from that guy. You know, what I could have done is like stopped and had the cameras like verify the trade, but like I was still, it was one of my first World Series too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't happen now. But I didn't do that, and because I was like a nervous and half scummed him, that's the reason for all my bad luck for a while.
Wow, that got extreme fast. So you go from being staked 200, 400, getting stacked by Cole South, who wins all the money always, to being homeless. How long after that?
That was that World Series after Black Friday, where everyone was sort of like unsure of the situation. They were like, "Oh, let's go to World Series and DGen and see what happens after that." And I had a house at the time, a complete idiot, noob or whatever, and like I was like, I had an investment in the house, like $50,000-$60,000 or whatever, and I was like, in Vegas, you know, and like I still had some money left when I went to Vegas too, you know, and by the time at the end of Vegas, I had borrowed too much and money got too quick. Like I'd never sold anything before, and it was like, oh, you need to do this, there's this fee, that fee, and oh yeah, and at the end of it, I got nothing back from it when I thought I was going to get a lot, or like my estimations were something, and I was just like, and I was like, all right, I have nothing, and then you run bad, and then shit happens.
So what
luckily, Bovada is grind.
So what happened being home? What was that about? So where were you living?
I mean, I wasn't really that bad homeless. Like I threw around homeless. Like I know people have had it a lot worse homeless and seen it. Like I had a car. I lived in my car, and I also had a lot of hotel rooms at the time. Like when I could scrape together money, like it's not that bad having a car. Like if you could sleep in your car and spend a lot of time grinding poker, like having a car is very close to a home. I mean, it's whatever.
I mean,
I know it sounds like obscene and whatever, but it's not like I was like wandering this to that when I got the image or everyone like talk about that, but I mean, it was a I always laugh because like it was a up for repo like Acura, and I was just had it for like 15 months before they caught me.
You were living in the car. It was supposed to get repoed
for like 15 months, and I've been in really bad neighborhoods, and I never got pulled over once. And then I get arrested on the most biggest bullshit ever. It's funny how you run good in some ways and bad in other ways.
So what'd you get arrested on?
I remember when I got arrested very clearly because I was living in my car, and it was early winter a couple years ago. And it was getting cold out. So I was like, you know what? Even though I was pretty poor, and I was like, let's spring for a hotel room, you know? And I was chopping it with some random scumbags or whatever. And I have all my shit, like, to my name to them, on my name with me, too, you know? Mm-hmm. And, like, these scumbags or whatever, they left or whatever at 2 a.m. or whatever, and one of them left their phone in my room. And so I called the other one. I was like, yo, you left your phone. And, like, the motel or whatever, you have to I ran down and handed him the phone. And at 3 a.m. in a random bumblefuck town outside Foxwoods, basically, cops have nothing better to do. They see these two fucking kids, and they think they see a hand-to-hand. They think I'm fucking Pablo Escobar. And I shit you not, they get pulled over. They were fucking smoking crack or something stupid. I don't even know. And they snitch for, I don't even know what they were like, where'd you come from? And like, as if I'm a drug dealer. Like, what the fuck? And like, they like told the cops exactly my hotel room. Cops bang on my door. I open up an inch, and I get bum rushed, pinned to the bed, and cuffed by 4 cops, guns drawn, thinking I'm fucking Pablo Escobar. And they search everything, and they found like a pill or something. I remember looking at the arrest report. Like, they didn't find much. I remember that they wanted me to throw it out and do the drug case, which is why it's so. They wanted me to do drug education program and just throw it out like they usually do for first-time nonviolent offenders. But fuck that. Like, I'm not gonna pee in a cup. I'm not gonna fucking answer to that bullshit. I just kept showing up pro se. And I was like, listen, you could throw me in jail. We could go to trial. They would never take you to trial for this random bullshit, you know, like it would waste their time and money, and they would never even deal with it. Or you could throw it out. And I just kept showing up. It was like a 2-year ordeal. Just keep showing up. And finally I found a prosecutor that let me just go. Or it was like, plead guilty. And they gave me a year suspended sentence. I was like, all right. So that means that I could just, and I actually cleared it. I spent a year. I left for Vegas after that. It was right before the summer because I wanted to go to summer to play the World Series. This was the summer that I went deep in the main. So yeah, I did that, and it made me seem all smart. Like, it would have been awesome if I won, you know, because I did that on purpose, you know. Mm-hmm. So I could, because if I was in the drug education program or probation, then I couldn't go to Vegas, which is another reason why I did it. So imagine if I won the main event and then got set over set. I would look like a fucking genius to Poppy. A fucking genius. Instead, I got set over set. So I look like a half genius.
All right, I got some questions. So how do you end up in a hotel room with these random scumbags, as you put it? How do you end up chopping the hotel room with these guys?
And you just meet people and you play poker. You've never chopped a hotel room with people?
Not random guys that I met that are smoking crack. No, I mean,
They weren't smoking crack in the hotel room.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I never had that happen. So they're smoking. So they go outside. They smoking crack.
You've probably stopped a hotel room with someone that has done a fucking felony drug in the room, or you mentioned ketamine. Ketamine's a felony. Any fucking Schedule 1 is a fucking felony. You could find a fucking single oxycodone, it's a felony. A fucking bump of cocaine is a felony. I know, ketamine's worse tranquilizers.
But with a random person, though?
Not random. I mean, I knew them.
So this is how you end up on a bed with a dude at 5 a.m., Brian O'Connor says. Yeah, that's true. I feel like this is how these 5 a.m. bedtime stories happen. Yeah, I agree. Either drugs or love or I don't know. I don't know. Good question, man. Joseph XU says, ask him about when Joe McKeon called him out on TV about owing him money during the main event. True or false?
I owed him money. Pay him back. I think I owe money. I owe money now too. Even if you want $1 million pot equity off me, I'll pay him back.
So you paid him back? You said?
I paid him back, but I think I owe money. I owe money from something different now.
So you paid him back and then he borrowed you money again and now you owe more money, or is it better something?
I'm just forever broke, man. And I'm living in a hotel. They make it so hard for me to get an apartment. Do you know how expensive hotel life is? Fuck. I'm not moving into an apartment by October 1st, though, which is good. Then I'll be able to grind.
October 1st?
That's in 2 weeks, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, okay. 2 weeks, yeah. So that's your plan, right? So you're moving to a new place October 1st. You're going to be hard on the grind. You're going to be going that remix to Ignition. You're going to be getting on Ignition, going to be getting whatever kitchen, etc., whatever pun you want to use.
You got remix to Ignition. Hop in fresh up the kitchen.
I like that, man. I like it. So that's what you'll be doing. You got any other plans for the rest of the year, puppy?
Same shit I always do. Occasional live poker tournament. Play poker. Poker life. The dream. STEALTHMUNK. You could be like me.
Come on down to Pot Limit Omaha. You can be like us, right? Is that what we're gonna? Is that what?
It's a hard way to make an easy living.
Yeah, man. Let's take some questions from the chat, guys. Give me a couple questions for STEALTHMUNK in the chat. Let's see what we got out here. Let's find something we might have missed. We got my buddy J-Mo in the chat. What up, puppy? What's going on, brother? What's happening, J-Mo? Welcome back to the United States. The pool's looking nice in the backyard, my friend. Let's see. Who else we got? DK Poker. Hold on to those Bitcoins. Talk about a real investment. All right, calm down. Let's see who else we got out here. Jason, when are you getting back on the pot again? Does he think he has an edge on Butters? Dave Schneider asks.
In what?
I don't fucking know. Garrett says, how did he get so skinny, puppy?
How did I get so skinny? I think not good reasons. Not drugs, though.
You on that Instagram model grind? That Instagram model diet grind?
I'm on that. Haven't seen a doctor in years and slowly dying grind. Aren't we all? It's funny. Everyone always congratulates me that, you know? And I finally, for the first time at a poker table, like, responded and made it awkward for him, like, not. Because, like, at the poker table, it was at Planet Hollywood the other day. I was like, oh, yeah, thanks. I'm dying from diabetes. That's why I'm losing all this weight. He sounds so awkward. Stop it, Joe.
Am I supposed to laugh at that? I don't know if that's funny. Is that funny? I don't know. Does that doesn't sound funny?
Depends on your type of humor. I like making people uncomfortable sometimes. You understand? It's like that Curb Your Enthusiasm type of humor. It's really
right. No, it makes. I mean, yeah, I try not to do that too much to people, but I can understand the fun in it. So you are. So wait. So you got diabetes, or what's the situation with that? What's going on with that?
I don't know. I don't know how much weight I've lost. I don't. I would assume that because I also can't see. They say WFMD is because I have bad eyes, and also this is what the Win people said because they saw me order some meal at the Win of mashed potatoes and Coca-Cola, and they said my blurry vision, and that means I have diabetes. So that's why, and my rapid weight loss. So apparently it runs my family too. Who knows? I can't afford anything yet, so in time. If I grind hard enough.
I guess does that concern you a lot, or what? I mean, you seem pretty nonchalant about it, but you know, like.
See, I never understood why people want to live old and all that shit. Like, I'd rather just chill, have fun, and die when you're 50 or 60. Or like, who cares if Negreanu has vegan superpowers? If he's like, do you really want to like be alive when you're 90 and like 100 and 80? Like, what good happens after you're at a certain age? You know, like I've already seen so many people like get married and like have kids and like they're basically dead to you already. Like, you probably, what fun is that? You know, like that's just like, I don't ever want to do that. So it's just sort of like, I don't want to be 60 fucking playing the live poke grinding Bovada, you know. What are you going to do? Like, I'm not going to set aside a fucking fund or like, I don't know.
You don't want to be 60 grinding Bovada? Fuck's sakes, man.
I don't know. I always see like the live, like I keep mentioning the Herolicos podcast, but like I watched it recently and I agree with so much of the stuff he said. Like, I see some of the older live poker players and I just feel like sad. Like, I'm like, I don't ever want to fucking be that person. Like, holy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever want to fucking be like grinding and like hating life, grinding live poker then. And what if they take away online poker again? Like, you never know. Like, it's so fucked up that they took away online poker in the first place too. But
so what else could you see yourself doing then?
nothing.
So no online poker. Well, what could, I guess then if you don't want to be playing poker, is it just sort of see what happens, see what comes to you?
Win the main event, retire, fedor hold style.
Seems realistic. Okay.
Grind Bovada.
Win all the Bovada money?
Hey, as we talked about earlier with Alcoholics Anonymous and NA, it's a day at a time, Poppy. Day at a time.
Amen to that, man. Amen to that. One day at a time. That's how I take my time in Vegas. I take it one day at a time, man. I don't get too far ahead of myself. I don't know where I'm going to be 2 days from now. One day at a time.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, too. Mostly like 2 or 3 days at a time because I generally stay awake that long.
You stay awake for 2 to 3 days at a time?
Yeah, I have this like 72-hour sleep schedule pretty much. And then it's I catch up on sleep debt once every 2 or 3 weeks. This is my Vegas sleep schedule. I think other people have developed and talked about it. I stay awake for like 48 to 60 hours in general. Sometimes 3 if the games are good. Then I pass out for like 6 to 8 or 4 to 6. And then every week to 10 days, I have a very long sleep.
What? You stay awake for 48 to 60 hours at a time, sleep 4 to 6 hours, and then every week you'll have a long sleep.
That's just what my sleep schedule has become on. Thanks. Also, Bovada, the hours that are best are odd. I'm not going to share that time that the hours are best, but odd.
Really depends, doesn't it? Depends what you like. Sometimes the games are better. There might not be that full 4 games running, but the games are really good because...
Dude, there's almost always 4 games running. I tend, like, honestly, like, I've only had to play 5-10 4 or 5 times in the past 6 months.
Yeah, there's really, it's very strange how it's always runs round the clock pretty much. Yeah,
I know, dude. Like, it's like, and every time it happens, I even send a text message. I remember I'm like, holy shit, the end is coming. I had to grind 5-10 for a bit. Like, it's slow, and then like the next day there'll be like fucking 4 punters, and it's like, it's back, dude. They just had to get their credit card back.
They had to get something back. Listen, I don't know how they do it. I don't know.
I was talking in chat the other day with the guy, and he said something about like my life, and I said, I was just trolling, but I was like, you have $3K on the table, like your life is good. And he said something about how he was down $170K in credit card deposit. And he played that way, so I was like, yeah. Dan Coleman would say that's bad and immoral as a poker player, not contributing from society. I found enjoyment out of it. I'm going to hell.
Yeah, I don't want to know the story of the Bovada guy. I mean, that's kind of the dirty secret about online poker, right? Is that you got all these guys playing who say, you know, they want to do well in the world and et cetera, but you're really, you know, some of these guys you're beating for money, they're putting themselves in these spots, and they're, you know, I guess then it's, you know, their decision, et cetera, et cetera. You can't be responsible for these guys making their decisions, but it's kind of a fucked up thing when you really think about it.
If I had a nickel for every time I've been called an enabler, I'd have a lot of nickels.
Let's take a couple more questions, man. We're going to wrap things up around here. Let me see what we got. Epicurus Puppy says, can you ask StealthMUNK if he has any good stories about Brian Mycon?
No.
Okay.
I don't hang out with Mycon a lot.
Okay. You got any Viffer stories?
No Viffer stories. I don't think I've ever even seen Viffer in real life.
You and Viffer together? It's going to be some fun. Could have been some fun. Could have been some fun. Could have been some fun. Big J, my boy Big J, what up, puppy? Never done a drug in my life, but I'm ready to close the blinds and snort some coke while I grind this podcast. Don't do that. I got a question on my phone from Ryan Feldman. Shout out to my boy Ryan. He says, ask about the Foxwood final table a couple years ago where he got kicked out of the tournament.
I got kicked out of the tournament by some scumbag TD. I really didn't do much wrong. There was a terrible ruling where I was just telling a story, and in the story I was I act very quickly when I play poker, so I was literally like pitching queen four off under the gun one, like look my cards, I fold right away. And in the story I was saying I'm all in in the story.
Mm-hmm.
But like there's no any fucking close. Like I didn't have the cards in my hand. Like I was literally looking at it under the gun and pitching, you know? Like, and they ruled that not only do I have to raise the minimum and fold, which is absurd, as opposed to if I could just go all in. Like it was like the Gal Bowman, Andre Koroknoy in the World Series situation, you know, where they don't have cards, where you just trust me from the tournament. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, some scumbag fucking Fox's regular tried to call out that, and they ruled that I also have a penalty, you know? And then they gave me another penalty for some verbal or like, I said something like, a guy called me an idiot or a negative, and I quoted him, and I was basically saying like, how are you allowed to say that? If I recall correctly, some guy used I was on like very close watch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they were giving me shit. And I quoted another guy, I was like, oh, you're allowed to say you're an idiot or some sort of like derogatory, like intelligence slur. And they gave me the second warning. And then as I was short stacked then. So I had like no point left. And I was like, all right, I'm going to report this to gaming. Like I wanted to take a picture. I took a picture of the guy and I was like, oh, you can't do that. And he started freaking out. I was like, take my iPad, you can delete it. And they gave me another fucking 3 penalties and I was kicked out.
So you're at the final table and you got kicked out while you're at the final table?
Yes.
Were you banned for life? Did you get your money? What happened with that?
They gave me my money for 9th place. I was in the final table with 3rd place to start. 2nd place. Foxwood is a very terribly run poker room. Glad I don't ever have to go back there.
You ever been kicked out of a lot of casinos or something? Does this happen all the time?
My friend's fucking laughing. Yeah. Been kicked out of a couple casinos.
Who's the friend? Who's the friend? Who you with?
Fucking some idiot. It's probably smoking crack and you get me arrested. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, huh? Okay. Shout out to the friend. What's going on, friend? Say what's up.
What's up, man?
What up, puppy? What's your name, friend?
Anonymous.
Anonymous, huh? It's like playing on Bovada here right now. We're playing with the anonymous guy in the background.
There's anonymous 1, and then there's anonymous 3 and 2. All right.
Sorry, this is what the PLO 1020 game looks like. You got 3 guys in the same hotel room playing, and then...
Found my secret. There's always some guy in chat that accuses people of partners. That's the funny thing.
I know. I think that guy is the bot. I think the bot is the one who's, because that's what I've noticed. The bot.
That guy that accuses, whenever he accuses, I always say, heads up, dude. Let's play heads up. I don't want this guy here. And I always tell him the table I'm at.
You are that crazy guy in the chat that's always swearing. There's been like these two regulars on the chat that always like whenever they lose, they're like fucking pussy, or they're like you fucking piece of shit.
I don't swear when I lose or whatnot, but I will. I'm not the guy that swears. I have a clean mouth.
I don't know who the guy that swears is, but he's like he plays like a winning style too, and he just randomly will go off and lose like a 60 big blind pot and just go crazy in the chat, and you're just like, what's wrong with this fucking guy?
That's the same guy that like always brags about his well played hands too. He's like,
yeah, that's the same guy. I need to find out who that guy is, man. I think I don't know. I think Jesse said it was him on Twitter.
Dude, a guy honestly called me out. I shit you not. Like I did this once and I thought I was God because like I called someone out based on a very thin value bet or like a weird value bet that like I had just played live with the person before and I knew it was that person. It was a friend of mine. And I called him out. Like I sent him a text like, wow, that's obviously you. Only you were bad enough to bet that there. And I was right, which is crazy. But then the other day, someone I'm in chat is just going off. STEALTHMUNK, you fucking idiot, all this shit. And it was to me, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'd only talked about Bovada to like you and like Dan Smith. And like I don't like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like how? I don't.
Well, maybe when you put on Twitter, because then I put that on Twitter and then you said that's probably me, then that's why they probably said that. That's
crazy. Are my stats really that like in line? Like that's nuts.
Listen, there's a guy who plays all the time. He plays 50.
Well, I play a lot of hours.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 55, 34.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be me then. That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of hours. Doesn't like plays like very well post flop. It's not like it's bets the weird sizes. Bets I don't like 40% C, less than 40% C bet.
That's me then. I run good, don't I? It's the one place I do run good in.
I wish you had all your hands because there's one hand where I definitely stacked you for 450 big blind pot. We both had over 8,000. So, and I was looking through my database and I didn't have the hand in there, so I was a little bit tilted by the hand. I think it was something where you open under the gun, I 3-bet under the gun +1, you insta 4-bet aces, I call, get all on the flop, and I win. And it was one of the most glorious times that I've had in the Bovada games. Because I'm like, I finally stacked this motherfucker for this massive pot, man. I finally.
The pot once, I remember. And it was I held versus like the world. I just flopped like top 2 versus like the wrap and flush draw, and I just like matched it in and won. That was the biggest pot I won.
That's the biggest pot. So if Matt Greshy says 55-34, what I mean by that is 55% VPIP, 34% pre-flop raise, which is a very unusual stat to see a player.
Like 10 or 9?
What'd you say?
What am I 3-betting? Like 9 or 10?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think you're not a lot. Not super 3-bet.
I know. I'm more. I'd like to see 3.
Right, it's hard to have 55% VPIP and also have a 9% 3-bet. That's just like I don't feel like those two go super in line with each other.
Bots are gonna figure me out now thanks to this podcast, Poppy.
They might. I don't know. We shall see, man. Put 4 of them together, on some viral network where they're sharing cards. I mean, maybe, man.
Can't be doing that. There's so many times where games don't even fill up. So many times the games are like 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know, I love it, man. All right, let's take a couple more questions. We'll wrap it up here. Stealth, man, you got anything you want? Any words you want to give the people? Any wisdom you want to give the people? Maybe a piece of life advice for the people out there. You maybe want to share.
Don't play poker. I was being sarcastic about the dream. I don't know.
Don't play poker. Don't gamble.
No, I don't care. Do what makes you happy.
Do what makes you happy, Stealth.
Nothing. That's the problem.
Nothing.
My dog and Bovada.
Your dog and Bovada make you happy.
Yes.
Well, amen, man. Spend as much time as you can with your dog and with Bovada, my friend. That's Did I miss the masturbation question? Vernon asks. Oh yeah, you're no, I don't even want to ask you this. I ain't asking there. I'm not even going this question, man. You got a podcast suggestion you think I should try to get on the podcast here, Stealth? Who would you like to see on?
I don't know.
He's in the tank. He's in the tank.
I want to see Very Sweet.
Barry, okay, well, I don't think Barry's going bottom. Maybe we get Barry in like 6 years once he's done winning all the money on Poker Stars. So Barry Sweet it is. Guys in the chat, all right, no more. That's it. All right, we're gonna wrap it up with that. If you want to follow StealthMUNK, it's at StealthMUNK on Twitter. You want anything else, Stealth? You got Instagram, Snapchat? What else you got, man?
I'm very anti-social media. I don't like them following. I only use Twitter because I'm addicted to it. I shouldn't even use that. I don't want Zuckerberg getting my info.
What's better to be addicted to, Twitter or crack?
Depends.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with you. To take out crack and put something else, I can agree. I think debatable.
That's not that bad. Crack really isn't that bad.
Crack isn't that bad.
Well, I'd rather be addicted to crack than Twitter. I'm not addicted to crack.
Shit, man. Let's leave it at that. That's a good way to go out. Guys in the chat, we got a lot of good questions out there today. I appreciate all the questions. Appreciate all the comments. Check out StealthMUNK on Twitter, at StealthMUNK. You want to listen back to the podcast, you'll be able to find it on iTunes. Search Poker Life. I'm going to be back on Monday with Max Silver. And we'll be talking some PLO as well, too, because Max is a player of the great game. I want to thank our sponsor, Pot Limit Omaha, for sponsoring today's podcast. The great game of Pot Limit Omaha. Check it out. You get 4 cards instead of 2. It's a great game. Check it out. Guys in the chat, much love. We're out of here. Peace out.
Yo, I played Max Silver heads up PLO. We had a heads up war. And I was actually, get this, I was going to play him heads up PLO this summer at the end of it, but he went deep in the main event, and I never got my heads up match with him. So actually, we'll go out with me calling Max Silver, you owe me a heads up match, you punk ass bitch.
Yo, amen, amen, man. We're gonna ask Max about this, and we're gonna get to the bottom of this fucking.
And we
story.
could set it up not on Bovada, we could set it up on Poker Stars home games. We got it all set up. Let's roll. Show you how we run a lot of streets. What up?
Bang bang. We out of here, guys. Take care.